Listen up, you sickly, broke little woman. The divorce papers are already filed. This house, everything in it, even the luxury car. You get none of it. It's all mine. And when this is over, I'm marrying my fiancé. That's what my husband spat at me before kicking me out while I was deathly ill. He took everything, convinced he'd won, but he was dead wrong. Just a few days later, he would be the one calling me, crying. Before the story begins, let me know in the comments what state you're watching from. And don't forget to like and subscribe so the channel can keep growing and bringing you more stories like this. Nala Aibo lay in the massive bed, her body on fire, though the sheets felt like ice. The thin chemise she usually wore at home clung to her in sweat-soaked patches. Her throat was sandpaper, every breath slicing through her like a blade. She had been bedridden, helpless, for 2 long days. That morning, she had asked her husband, Zirayan Kruma, to buy her fever reducers and antibiotics. But now it was deep into the night, and Zira still hadn't returned. The spacious house in the Atlanta suburbs was silent. So silent it felt wrong. The only sound was the relentless ticking of the living room clock, counting down the last shreds of her patience. Nala tried reaching for the glass of water on the nightstand. Her trembling hands couldn't hold it. The glass slipped, crashing onto the thick rug and soaking the fibers. All she could do was shut her eyes and swallow the rising despair. Zir had changed over the last year. After being promoted to department head, arrogance had become his second skin. He came home late, agitated, always looking for someone to blame, and that someone was always Nayla. 3 months ago, when she began coughing constantly and feeling exhausted, he didn't show a shred of concern. Instead, he started calling her the sickly woman, as if she were an inconvenience. He seemed to have forgotten that she was the wife who stood by him when they had nothing. Back in that cramped little apartment in Brooklyn, a sound broke through the silence. Frrr. Nick. A luxury sedan pulled into the driveway. Relief washed over Nayla. Finally, he was back. Surely he had brought the medication. She forced herself upright, leaning against the headboard despite her aching spine. She waited for Zaire to walk in with the medicine she desperately needed. The front door slammed. Heavy, quick footsteps followed. Angry footsteps, not the steps of a worried husband. The bedroom door burst open. Zaire stood there, tall and rigid, still in his immaculate designer shirt. His neatly styled hair and handsome features couldn't hide the cold hatred in his eyes. And in his hands, there was no pharmacy bag, just a thick brown legal folder. Zir Nala's voice was raw, barely a whisper. "Where are my meds? My head. It hurts so much. I have a fever." Zir let out a sharp, mocking laugh. "Meds? I brought something better. Medicine. For both of us. A cure for my life." He strode forward and tossed the folder onto the comforter, the documents landing across Nala's legs. Her heart pounded. "What? What is this, honey? Open it," he said, voice cold and razor-sharp. "Unless you want to die of curiosity, too." With the last of her strength, she tore open the envelope. Papers slid out. At the top of the first page, she saw the words, "Petition for dissolution of marriage." Her world froze. The fever's heat evaporated, replaced by a piercing cold that spread through her bones. She looked up at Zaire, searching for some sign, any sign, that this was a mistake, but all she found was satisfaction. "Divorce," she whispered, stunned. "Why are you surprised?" Zaire sneered. He sat at the edge of the bed, but far enough away as if her presence repulsed him. "Listen up, you sickly, broke little woman. You think I want to spend my life taking care of a useless burden?" He stood and began pacing, delivering his cruelty like a rehearsed monologue. "I've handled everything. I already filed the papers. I'm done. I'm sick of it, sick of your coughing, sick of your weakness, sick of looking at you every day, sick of seeing you lying in bed with no energy, sick of looking at you like this every day. You're a liability, a weight dragging down my life." "Honey, what did I do wrong?" Nala whispered, her voice cracking as tears filled her eyes. "Your fault," Zaire scoffed. "Your fault is being poor. You can't give me anything." He gestured around the luxurious room with a sweeping, arrogant motion. "Look at all this. The house, the furniture, the luxury SUV in the garage. All of it is mine. I worked for this. Everything is under my name." Nala stayed silent. Her expression didn't change, but behind her eyes, something unreadable flickered. Something Zaire never bothered to notice. He mistook her silence for surrender. "Are you even listening?" he snapped. "You're not getting a single penny. Asset division. Don't even dream of it. You came into this house with nothing, and you'll leave with nothing." Then he said the words that shattered what little remained of her heart. "When this is over," he announced, his face glowing with pride. I'm marrying my fiancée, Anna. He paused to let it sting. She's healthier, prettier, and most importantly, she understands a successful man like me. Unlike you. Nala closed her eyes. So there was another woman. The name meant nothing. The betrayal meant everything. I don't want to see your face in this house tomorrow morning, Zir said cruelly. You have until dawn. Get out, and don't take anything but the clothes on your sick body. Nala's tears slid down her pale cheeks. Silent, hot, unending. Crying won't help you, he added, shrugging. The papers are filed. The process will be quick. He straightened his shirt and walked toward the door. I'm spending the night at Anya's loft downtown. I don't want to breathe the same air as you. He looked back one last time. Tomorrow morning, I'll send someone to make sure you're gone. Nala wanted to scream, to curse him, to tell him everything she'd held inside for years. But her strength was gone. All she could do was watch as he disappeared through the doorway. The bedroom door slammed. The front door followed. Then the roar of his SUV faded into the night. Nala was alone, gravely ill, heartbroken, divorced, and discarded. And she cried. Deep, agonizing, soul-crushing cries. The pain in her chest eclipsed the fever burning through her body. After 15 minutes, her tears stopped. She gasped for breath, wiping her face roughly. Because beneath the devastation, something else stirred. Cold, sharp, and deliberate. Resolve. Her expression hardened. Slowly, she reached under the pillow. Not the one she usually slept on, but the extra one she kept there intentionally. Her fingers curled around a slim, solid object. A smartphone. Not the outdated one she kept on the nightstand. This one was state-of-the-art. Her only secret. Zir had no idea it even existed. It unlocked with her fingerprint. The screen lit up. A blank white background. No social media. Only encrypted business apps. Nayla opened the single contact saved under the name, Director Imani Nkoshi. She pressed call. Her heart pounded, not from fever, but from the cold anger coursing through her veins. The call connected on the first ring. Good evening, Miss Nyala, a calm, professional woman said. You're calling very late. Are you all right? I heard you were unwell. Nala inhaled slowly, steadying her voice. Director Nkas, she said, voice raspy but icy. Activate the contingency plan. There was a brief, startled silence. Then Director Nkasi's tone shifted, formal and serious. Understood, ma'am. What happened? I was evicted, Nala said coldly. Zir divorced me. He thinks I'm a useless, sick pauper. Good heavens, the audacity of Mr. Zir, Nkas hissed. Director, I'm very ill. My fever is high. I need medical evacuation. I don't want a regular hospital. Nala paused, her voice firm. Come to the house and pick me up. Bring the private medical team from Kings Mountain Clinic. No sirens. Quietly. I don't want anyone to know. Understood, ma'am. The VVIP medical team will arrive in 30 minutes. I'll come personally. Can you hold on? Nala stared at the divorce papers lying on the comforter. With what little strength she had left, she crushed the sheets in her fist. I have to hold on, Director, she whispered. The game has just begun. She ended the call. Her body trembled violently from the fever, but her eyes gleamed, cold, sharp, and alive in the darkness. Zir had just made the greatest mistake of his life. He thought he had thrown out a useless, worthless wife. He didn't know he had just thrown out the owner of Ebo Holdings, a global corporation generating $1.5 million in net profit every month. He had no idea who he had betrayed. The room felt suffocating. Every tick of the clock was a hammer beating against her skull. Nala clutched her secret phone tightly. Her mind raced. Fear that Zir might return. Fear that the team might be delayed. Fear her weakened body might give out at any moment. Her fever surged again, waves of heat alternating with bone-deep chills. Exactly 25 minutes later, her phone buzzed silently. Director Nkosi, SMS. We have arrived. The door is unlocked. The team is entering. Nala exhaled in relief. Of course the door was unlocked. Zir was too arrogant to imagine his dying wife could do anything. She pushed the comforter aside. The moment her feet touched the cold carpet, her vision swam. She grabbed onto the bedpost before collapsing. She had to stay upright. She had to leave. With trembling fingers, she reached for the long trench coat hanging behind the door and slipped it over her drenched chemise. She would not crawl out like a broken woman. She would not hand Zir her dignity. The bedroom door opened softly. Nala flinched, but it was only two medical staff in dark scrubs. No bright hospital white, no noise, no commotion. They moved silently, efficiently. Behind them stood director Imani Nkosi, a stern yet warm woman in her late 50s, dressed in a sharp blazer, eyes tightening with worry at the sight of Nala. "Ms. Nala," she whispered urgently. "I'm ready. Director," Nala breathed. "Put Ms. Nala on the portable stretcher," Director Nkosi ordered. The team unfolded a compact, collapsible gurney. They lifted Nala carefully. "Ma'am, we'll administer a temporary fever reducer for comfort during transport," one medic said gently. Nala nodded. A mild sting pricked her arm. Then a cool sensation spread through her veins. As they lifted her, Nala looked at the ceiling one last time. This room, once full of warmth, had become the graveyard of her marriage. They brought her through the lavish living room. Her gaze caught the massive wedding portrait on the wall, she and Zir smiling, glowing in joy. The Zir she married, the Zir she believed in. Now that picture felt like a cruel joke. "Leave everything," Nala whispered. "Don't take a thing." "Of course, ma'am," Director Nkosi replied. "We need nothing from this place." They stepped outside. No ambulance waited. Instead, a black Mercedes-Benz Sprinter, indistinguishable from a presidential escort, sat in the driveway. Its side door slid open to reveal a fully equipped VVIP emergency suite. As they loaded her inside, Nala's vision blurred. Meanwhile, across the city in a luxury loft, Zir was laughing loudly. He poured a cocktail for Anna, a beautiful young woman in a sheer chemise. "So tomorrow," Anna purred, "we officially become the owners of that big house?" Zir smirked. "Of course! I kicked her out. That sick woman won't dare say anything. Tomorrow I'll get all the locks changed. The day after, we start redesigning the bedroom." Anna squealed. "Perfect! It'll all be ours." Zir raised his glass. "To our new life." His phone, lying face down on silent, didn't buzz. He didn't want calls from that sickly woman ruining his night. Back in the medical vehicle, gliding through the night, Nala was surrounded by quiet urgency. A doctor inserted an IV immediately. Temperature 107 degree, 41.7 degree. Severe infection. We need to move fast, the doctor said. Director Nkosi sat beside the stretcher, her expression tight with concern. "Ma'am, stay strong. King's Mountain Clinic is fully prepared for you." Nala's fever began to ease as the medication took effect. Her mind drifted. 5 years ago. The beginning of the secret life she never meant to create. Back then, Zir had just been laid off from his first job, depressed for months. Nala, a simple homemaker then, tried to comfort him, to support him, to carry the entire emotional burden. Zir grew sensitive about money, insecure, controlling. "You don't need to work," he said. "It hurts my pride. Stay home. I will earn for us." He said this while unemployed. But Nala, armed with a hidden pharmacology degree, couldn't sit idle. In the small kitchen, between chores and tears, she began experimenting with herbal skincare formulations, using recipes inherited from her grandmother. She spent her personal savings on premium ingredients. After months of trial and error, she succeeded. A powerful facial serum and whitening cream with astonishing results. She tested them on herself. Her skin transformed. Zir was too busy job hunting to notice. To him, she was just playing in the kitchen. When she quietly opened an online store, her products spread through word of mouth. Orders exploded. That same time, Zir finally found a new job, with a decent salary, and with it, arrogance. One night, he snapped, "I give you money and you're glued to that phone? What do you even do all day?" Nala stayed silent. That night alone, she had closed $30,000 in sales. The turning point came when she attended a women's entrepreneurship seminar. Director Imani Nkosi, a retired multinational executive, was the keynote speaker. Nayla approached her afterward timid but determined, showing her the products and a handwritten plan. Director Nkosi was stunned. "Miss Nayla, this is extraordinary, and your business strategy is solid." She joined not as an investor, but as a partner. They founded Ayebo Holdings, or AH. Nayla was the inventor, the visionary, the owner. Director Nkosi became the CEO, the public face. Nala demanded one thing: her name must never appear anywhere. She wanted to remain Zaire's simple wife. She believed that with success and stability, Zaire would become a better husband. But she was wrong. As Zaire grew successful, he grew proud, selfish, cruel. Meanwhile, AH exploded, entering luxury fashion, dominating international markets from New York to Paris to Tokyo. Nala's personal net profit hit $1.5 million a month. The company earned dozens of times more. She hid her wealth, lived simply. Even when Zaire bought the luxury house and sports car, he took massive loans, bragging about his job performance. He never knew the truth. The business loan he nearly defaulted on last year? It had been quietly purchased by an investment company, a company that was, in fact, a subsidiary of Ayebo Holding. Just as Anna stretched her arms out, imagining where her new bed frame would go, the sound of a car engine rolled into the driveway. Zaire frowned. "Did you call someone?" Anna asked. "No," Zaire snapped. "Probably the cleaning lady. She better not be late." But when he looked out the window, his breath hitched. It wasn't the cleaning lady's old sedan. 3 black executive SUVs had pulled up, silent, polished, and unnervingly official-looking, the type of vehicles used by high-end corporate security or government-level teams. Each car door opened in perfect synchronization. Men and women in tailored black suits stepped out, carrying sleek document cases. Their presence was sharp, professional, coordinated. Zaire's stomach tightened. Who are they?" Anna whispered. Before Zaire could answer, the front door opened without knocking. A woman stepped inside, poised, confident, elegant in a charcoal suit. Director Imani Inosi. Her expression was unreadable. "Good morning, Mr. Zaire," she said smoothly. "Miss Anna," she gave a polite nod toward Anna, who shrank back slightly. "What is this?" Zaire barked. "You can't barge into my house." Director Inosi smiled. A polite, cold smile. "Oh, that's precisely why we're here." She turned slightly and gestured. A team of legal officers stepped forward, opening thick document folders. Zaire's heart pounded. "Mr. Zaire," Director Inosi said, "I regret to inform you that, as of 9 o'clock this morning, this property and all associated assets have been repossessed by Ayebo Holdings." Zaire blinked. "What? What do you mean repossessed? This is my house. My house. Everything here is mine." "No, it is not." Her voice was soft but lethal. She lifted a document. "This is the official transfer record, showing that Ayebo Holdings purchased your delinquent loan package from the First National Bank of Atlanta." Zaire felt the world tilt. "That loan was paid off," he said, voice cracking. "Oh, it was," Inosi agreed. "By Miss Nala, your wife." Anna stiffened. Director Inosi continued calmly. "And in exchange, the collateral, which included this house and your sports car, was legally transferred to her." Zaire's vision blurred. "That's impossible," he whispered. Inosi stepped closer, lowering her voice just enough to make the blow personal. "You truly believed she had nothing? That she was powerless?" She tilted her head. "You never once questioned how your failing business magically revived? How foreclosure vanished overnight? How the bank stopped calling you?" Zaire swallowed hard. Anna slowly stepped away from him. Inosi continued, eyes glinting. "Your wife, whom you threw out while she was gravely ill, saved your business. Quietly, fully. You lived in a palace only because she paid for the ground beneath your feet." Zaire's knees nearly buckled. No, this can't. She's just a weak woman?" Inosi finished for him. "A poor woman?" She shook her head. "Oh, Mr. Zaire." You truly had no idea who you married. A legal officer stepped forward. Sir, you are required to vacate the premises immediately. This property is now under the management of ABO Holdings. Anna grabbed her purse. Zier, what is happening? She hissed. You said everything was in your name. But Zier couldn't answer. He was staring at the documents stamped, signed, sealed, all bearing one name, Nala Amari Nkosh. His wife, his burden, his weakness, his liability. Director Inosi closed her folder. Consider this the end of your grace period. Miss Nala allowed you 3 days. She straightened. They have passed. Anna backed toward the door, panic rising. Zier felt hollow. His new life was collapsing before breakfast. Director Inosi took a final step toward him, lowering her voice like a dagger. When Miss Nala has recovered, she will decide whether you are allowed to collect your personal belongings, or if everything you own will be auctioned to settle the remaining corporate claims tied to your name. Zier felt his throat close. She's alive? He whispered. She is receiving presidential-level medical treatment, Annecy replied. Resting, recovering, stronger than you ever allowed yourself to see. She turned toward the door. Good day, Mr. Zier. Please exit the property. The legal team began recording the premises and cataloging assets. Anna grabbed Zier's arm. Zier, we need to go. But he didn't move. He was staring at the spotless bedroom, the place where he'd left Nala feverish, shaking, broken. Except she hadn't been broken at all. She had been planning, preparing, waiting, and now she was rising. I want a round canopy bed, and these walls need painting. I want a gold color, Anna declared, marching through the house with gleeful entitlement. Her sharp voice sliced through the silence as she pointed at furniture with her manicured finger. This sofa is ugly. Change it. That painting is tacky. Throw it away. And this kitchen needs a complete remodel. I want an imported Italian kitchen set. Zier just followed behind her like a proud servant. Yes, honey. I'll change everything. Anything for you? He puffed his chest. We'll celebrate tonight. I'll invite our closest friends. I'll order the most luxurious catering in the city. Zier pulled out his phone and dialed his premium catering service. I want the best menu, he said. Imported Wagyu, seafood platters, European juice selections. Understood, Mr. Zier, the employee replied. The total is $2,000. As usual, we require a 50% deposit. Of course, send the invoice. I'll pay with my primary card. Zier sat down on the very sofa Anna had insulted and opened his bank app. He typed the card number, hit pay, and waited. A spinning icon. Then transaction denied. He frowned. Weird. That card had a limit of hundreds of thousands. Probably the signal, he muttered. He tried again. Transaction denied. Anna, still taking selfies, glanced over. Honey, why are you taking so long? One moment, darling. The bank is having a network issue. He tried another credit card. Rejected. A bead of sweat trickled down his temple. Why? He tried his debit card. Rejected. Insufficient funds. Zier stared, his heart slamming against his ribs. Insufficient funds? Impossible. His salary had just come in 3 days ago. His fingers flew across the screen as he opened his main banking app. It asked for his password. He typed it. The page loaded. Then a message appeared. Access blocked. Please contact your nearest branch. Zier's breath caught. His hands turned ice cold. His entire financial access, frozen. His face went rigid as the horror sank in. He couldn't use his credit cards. He couldn't access his payroll account. He couldn't even see his balance. Zier! Anna yelled from across the room. The catering guy just messaged me. He said your payment is still rejected. This is embarrassing. Her annoyance stabbed him deeper. Relax, honey, relax. Just network problems, Zier said quickly, trying to smile though his jaw trembled. He remembered a small emergency account at a different bank, one he rarely used. It only held a few $1,000s, but it might cover the deposit and save face. With shaking fingers, he entered its details. Payment successful. Zier let out a shaky sigh. See? He said, forcing a grin. Just a network issue. It's all solved. The The catering will be here at 7. Anna brightened again. Great, I'm going to the salon. The front door closed behind her. In an instant, Zier's smile shattered. His legs felt weak. His thoughts raced. Why was his main account blocked? Why were all his cards frozen? Why was his entire financial identity suddenly inaccessible? He swallowed hard. Could it be Nala? He muttered. Then he scoffed at himself. No. Impossible. That stupid woman doesn't have the ability for this. She has nothing. She's nothing. But despite his words, a cold panic slithered up his spine. Something was wrong. Terribly, disastrously wrong. And this was only the beginning. He promised himself that first thing tomorrow morning, he would call the bank and scream at them. Someone would pay for humiliating him like this. Someone had to. He paced the living room, trying to swallow the anxiety clawing at his throat, when ding-dong. The doorbell rang. Zier frowned and opened the door. A courier in a neat uniform stood stiffly, holding a large brown folder. Mr. Zier? Yes, that's me. Certified mail, sign here. Zier scrawled his signature and shut the door behind him. He glanced at the sender's name. Vega and Associates, attorneys at law. A prestigious, expensive-sounding firm. He smirked. Finally, the divorce paperwork. This must be the court acknowledgement. He tore the envelope open, but the documents inside were not from family court. They were legal warnings. A notary demand letter. His eyes darted across the page, reading the cold, merciless lines. Dear Sir, on behalf of our client, Ebo Holdings, we notify you that you have committed a breach of contract on your business line of credit. The principal amount of $4,000 is now due in full. You are hereby granted a grace period of 3 days to liquidate the debt. Failure to comply will result in immediate seizure of the collateral assets, namely, 1 luxury residence at 12 Oak Street, 1 unit of luxury sports car, regards, Vega and Associates. The glass in his hand slipped and shattered on the marble floor. Zier's face drained of color. His lips trembled. 4 million? 3 days. Foreclosure. The house. His chest tightened. No, this isn't real. I paid the installment last week. His hands shook violently. What breach? What the hell is Ebo Holdings? His victory had lasted less than 24 hours. That night, while music blasted and his friends drank and laughed around him, while Anna wrapped herself around him like a proud queen-to-be, Zier smiled mechanically. But inside, he was cracking. He felt it, like a steel cage slowly tightening around his neck. Zier didn't sleep, not a second. Anna was passed out next to him, exhausted after their little celebration. But Zier's mind replayed the same phrases again and again. $4 million. 3 days. Collateral seizure. Ebo Holdings. As soon as dawn prayer echoed faintly in the distance, Zier shot out of bed. His body ached. His eyes were bloodshot. He didn't shower, didn't even think about it. He splashed water on his face, threw on clothes, grabbed his keys. He would fix this. The bank would explain themselves. It must have been a clerical mistake. Some idiot employee pressing the wrong buttons. At 8 a.m., the exact second the bank opened, Zier stormed through the doors. He ignored the queue of customers and went straight to the VIP counter, slamming his black VIP metal card down so hard the employee jumped. I'm Zier. I want to see the branch manager now, he barked. The employee swallowed nervously and rushed him into a private VIP room. 5 minutes later, not the manager, but a sharply dressed relationship officer stepped inside. Good morning, Mr. Zier. How may I help you? Allow me to check your ACE. Don't waste my time, Zier snapped. Explain why all my credit cards are blocked, why my payroll account is frozen, and why I received a ridiculous breach of contract notice. The officer typed calmly on his tablet. His expression changed. Slightly. Barely. But enough to make Zier's stomach drop. I see, the manager murmured. He scrolled again. And again. Then he folded his hands politely, looked at Zier, and said, Mr. Zier, we need to discuss this privately. Interesting. The bank manager murmured it softly. his eyes narrowing at the screen. "What's interesting?" Zier shouted, voice cracking with panic. The manager lifted his gaze calmly. "Mr. Zier, we did not block your accounts or credit cards. Your balances are simply zero, and your credit limits have been fully exhausted." "Impossible!" Zier exploded. "My salary is thousands of dollars. My card limits are in the hundreds of thousands. I didn't spend a cent yesterday." "That is correct, sir," the manager said evenly. "However, our system recorded an emergency automatic debit from your business line of credit at 12:01 a.m. last night. This debit absorbed the full balance of your payroll account and simultaneously consumed the remaining credit limits of all your cards." Zier's breath hitched. He froze. "An emergency debit? By whose order?" The manager clicked, checking again. "Not ours, sir. It was ordered by the new owner of your business loan." Zier's blood ran cold. "New owner?" "Yes. According to our records, the $4 million business loan was sold 6 months ago to a private equity firm called Ebo Holdings. We only handle your monthly payments on their behalf." Zier staggered. "Ebo Holdings. Why would they come after me? I've never missed a payment," he whispered desperately. "That is beyond our authority," the manager replied politely. "But according to the notification we received last night, Ebo Holdings has declared you in breach of contract under the loan sale agreement. When a breach occurs, they are permitted to forcibly withdraw funds from your accounts as an initial penalty." "That appears to be what happened." Zier's knees nearly buckled. He grabbed the desk for support. "How can I be in breach?" "What breach?" The manager shrugged slightly. "It should be explained in the legal documents you received. You will need to consult Ebo Holdings directly." Zier stumbled out of the bank, like a man pushed out of an airplane without a parachute. The sunlight burned his eyes. His shirt stuck to his sweat-soaked back. He collapsed into the driver's seat of his soon-to-be repossessed sports car. His hands trembled violently as he opened his phone and searched. Ebo Holdings. Dozens of articles appeared. A multinational conglomerate. Luxury fashion. Global skincare. Real estate. A giant. Their logo was everywhere. Zier had seen it before. On billboards, magazines, influencer posts. But he had never cared. "Why? Why would a monster like this buy my tiny loan?" he whispered, horrified. He remembered the law firm name. Vega and Associates. With the last scraps of courage, he dialed the number. "Good morning," he began, voice shaking. "I'm Zier. I received a demand letter on behalf of Ebo Holdings. This must be a mistake. I never defaulted." The voice that replied was calm, too calm. "There is no mistake, Mr. Zier. Our client is acting within their rights. You violated Clause 11, Section B of the loan agreement." "Clause what?" "That clause is ridiculous. It has nothing to do with my debt." "It does, Mr. Zier. When Ebo Holdings purchased your loan, the clause was activated. It concerns moral conduct. You are obligated to maintain family harmony and refrain from acts that could damage the loan's reputation." Zier blinked. His mouth went dry. "That clause is absurd. It is legally binding. Evicting your gravely ill wife to live with another woman qualifies as a severe violation of Clause 11, Section B." Zier stopped breathing. How? How do you even know that?" "We have irrefutable proof. Photos, audio recordings, witness statements. Your actions triggered the breach." Zier's vision blurred. Nala. Everything kept circling back to her. But how? How could she do this? She was just Nala. A weak, sickly, powerless. No, not powerless. Not anymore. "Please, give me time," he begged. "I'll pay the installments." "Too late, Mr. Zier. Our client is not interested in installments. You have exactly 2 days and 8 hours left to pay the full $4 million. Otherwise, our execution team will seize your assets as scheduled." The line went dead. Zier screamed and threw the phone against the dashboard. $4 million, 2 days. It was impossible. His accounts were frozen, his salary gone, his assets were not even his. His thoughts turned wild. Nala. Nala did this. But how? He searched again. Ebo Holdings, owner unknown, CEO, Director Imani Anosi. Imani. That name, then it struck him. Years ago, Nala had mentioned a church friend, Aunt Imani, some older woman she admired. He had laughed and dismissed it. Could it be her? Was Nala close to someone this powerful? His head throbbed. There was only one answer left. He had to find Nala. He had to beg her, get her to withdraw her complaint. He drove to her parents' house, a small, modest place. Her parents answered the door, eyes filled with fury and disappointment. When he asked where Nala was, her father trembled with rage. You threw out my daughter when she was sick, and now you come seeking her? Get out. Don't ever come here again. The door slammed. Zir stood there, humiliated, rejected, empty-handed. His last dollars were spent on fuel. That night, Anna confronted him. She had seen the letter. 3 days? $4 million foreclosure? You're ruined, Zaire. It's temporary. Nala. This is all her fault. I don't care whose fault it is, Anna screamed. I'm not staying with a poor man. They slept back to back, icy and silent. The third day arrived, the most terrifying morning of Zir's life. At 9 a.m., as he and Anna picked at breakfast, the doorbell rang. They froze. The knocking grew louder. Mr. Zir, we know you're inside. We are the execution team from Vega Associates. Anna burst into tears. Zir went white. He ran for the back door, but 2 burly security guards were already waiting. Please remain inside, sir. He was trapped. Minutes later, the front door was unlocked by a locksmith. A lawyer in a pristine suit entered, followed by court marshals. Mr. Zir, the lawyer said coldly, your time is up. By court order, we are initiating the seizure of this property and all assets within. No, please, just 1 more week. Zaire fell to his knees, sobbing. The lawyer remained unmoved. You may take only the clothes you are currently wearing. You have 15 minutes to vacate. Anna shrieked. She suddenly understood the truth. Zir, the man she worshipped, was nothing. She ran upstairs and returned moments later with 2 suitcases. Zir stared, stunned. Anna, where are you going? She glared at him with pure disgust. Leaving you, of course. I'm not staying with a broke loser. I thought you were a king, but you're just a clown. Enjoy your downfall, Zir. She walked past the marshals and left without looking back. Zir collapsed. He watched as foreclosure stickers covered his furniture, as his sports car was towed away, as his home was chained shut. In less than 3 days, everything was taken from him. He was thrown onto the hot sidewalk, still in his pajamas. Passers-by stared. Once arrogant, now broken, homeless, helpless, alone. Exactly as he had left Nala. Only this time, no one would come to save him. In his absolute panic, in the crushing humiliation, his mind could think of only one name, Niala. He patted his pockets. His old phone was still there. He had no one else to call, no one to curse, no one to plead with. His trembling fingers scrolled through his contacts until they found her name. Niala. Desperation made him press the call button. He didn't expect her to answer, but it rang once, twice, and then connected. A voice came through. Not the frail, sickly voice he remembered, but calm, clear, cold, and authoritative. Zir, who had been ready to yell, froze. His chest tightened, his sobs choking him. He couldn't contain it anymore. Tears burst from his eyes uncontrollably. Nala! Help me, please! Nala! I don't know what happened. They seized our house. They took the car. They kicked me out. Nala! Please! On the 40th floor of the Azaabo Holdings building, in a VVIP treatment suite, now transformed into a sleek executive office, Nala sat with unshakable poise. She was no longer bedridden. Her face was framed by an emerald satin scarf, her expression resolute, her posture regal. Around her, Director Inosi and department heads paused mid-discussion as the phone vibrated. Zir's name flashed across the screen. Nala raised a hand, signaling silence. She pressed the speaker button. Immediately, Zir's panicked voice filled the room. I don't understand. Nala, help me, please. I'm on the street. I've lost everything. Nala waited until he finished, then spoke, calm, controlled, and sharp as steel. Excuse me, who is this? Zir froze. His sobs faltered. It's me, Niala. Your wife, he stammered. No, Mr. Zaire, Nala replied, her voice indifferent, almost as if speaking to a stranger. You are no longer my husband. Our divorce was finalized this morning. And as for the house, her tone sharpened. 3 days ago, you claimed it as yours, did you not? Zir's throat went dry. The voice was hers, but not the weak woman he had known. This was the Nala he had never seen, the authoritative, commanding, unyielding woman standing atop a global empire. Nala, where are you? He whispered, terrified. What have you done? Are you healthy? I am in a meeting, Nala said effortlessly, glancing at the city skyline through the towering glass windows. Discussing business expansion into the Middle East. Matters you wouldn't understand. This is business, Zir. No, Nayla, stop. Help me. It must be your friend, Director Imani, right? Please, tell her to stop. I'll do anything. I'll divorce, I promise. A cold, cruel laugh came from the speaker. Come back to me? Do you think I would pick up the trash I threw out? And Anya? You're too late. She left when the execution team arrived. My legal team just informed me. Zir staggered. Niala knew. She saw everything. Every humiliating moment. Every betrayal. Who are you? He whispered, terror strangling him. What have you become? I'll tell you who I am, Nala said, rising to her feet. You called the poor, sickly wife you abandoned, but let me introduce myself properly. I am the owner of Azebo Holdings. I am the sole founder, chairperson, and the woman whose assets you thought you could take. The house, the car, your so-called life of power, all of it belongs to me now. The phone slipped from Zaire's trembling hands, clattering onto the sidewalk. He froze. His world had not just collapsed, it had vanished. No, impossible, he whispered. Nala's voice returned, cold and impassive. I am busy, Zir, but since today is the day of your ruin, I'll grant you a moment of my time. Lift your head. He obeyed like a broken machine. Across the street, he saw it. Her empire. The towering Azebo Holdings skyscraper, gleaming blue glass reflecting the harsh sun. He squinted. At the 40th floor, she was looking down at him. His heart stopped. Look at you, she said softly. Pathetic. Begging on the street where you once flaunted your arrogance. Come to the lobby. I want to see the face of the man who thought he owned me crumble. The call disconnected. Zir stood frozen, paralyzed, wearing dirty pajamas and street dust on his feet. His house was gone. The car was gone. Anya had abandoned him. And now, even his pride was about to be annihilated. With morbid curiosity and foolish hope, he staggered toward the building. The lobby was another world. Polished marble floors, an artificial waterfall, and employees moving briskly as if nothing else existed. He was a stain on a pristine canvas. Excuse me, sir? May I help you? A receptionist asked. I'm here to see Niala, he stammered. You mean our chairperson? Do you have an appointment? No. She asked for me. Tell her it's Zir. Before the receptionist could call security, a firm voice cut through the air. Let him pass. Director Imani Anosi appeared, flanked by security guards. So you are Zir. Follow me. Chairperson Naila is waiting. Zir was led through the lobby, eyes cast down, surrounded by whispers and astonished stares. He was a man utterly broken. Then, the elevator doors opened. 2 bodyguards emerged, standing firm on either side. And Naila stepped out. The woman before him was not the frail, powerless figure he had known. She was regal, commanding, and radiant. A sapphire blue power suit hugged her figure, a matching silk scarf framing her face. Her high heels clicked on marble with authority. Employees bowed slightly, greetings hushed. Zir's knees buckled. He fell to the ground, tears streaming uncontrollably. Get up, Nala commanded softly, her eyes boring into his soul. Shaking, drenched in tears and sweat, he obeyed. You want to beg? She asked, voice carrying across the lobby. Too bad, Zaire. My company does not hire beggars. She brushed imaginaries, dust from her jacket, and turned. The elevator doors closed, and she vanished from sight. Zir's humiliation was total. Public, complete. Director Inosi approached. Come, There is one last lesson she wants you to see. Zier was dragged to a luxurious mezzanine meeting room. He sank into a chair, broken and silent. The screen descended. Financial reports, graphs, balance sheets, figures in billions illuminated the room. 5 years ago, Director Inosi began, you were unemployed, depressed, arrogant, and blind to the truth. While you blamed the world, your wife, whom you thought weak, was building an empire in secret. She formulated skincare products, expanded into luxury fashion, established Azibo Holdings, the house, the car, the international business, all hers, all without your knowledge. Zier's head spun. Money, power, all gone. Director Inosi pressed a button. Video evidence appeared. Zier embracing Anna, laughing in Nala's clothes, the very moment he believed himself triumphant. Then, the final, most damning clip. The day he evicted her, cruel and arrogant, while she lay sick and powerless. Zier gasped. Jail! Is this? We had prepared charges, Director Inosi said calmly, but jail is too comfortable. She wants humiliation, and you will feel it completely. A folder was placed in front of him. Divorce papers, moral damages. Zier's world had crumbled. He had nothing left. Nyala was not after his money. She wasn't dividing assets or taking dirty cash. She had only recovered what was hers: the house, the car. But Zire still had to face the consequences of his actions. His eyes widened as he read the figure on the claim. $400,000. $400,000? He screamed. I don't have money. You took it all. Director Inosi smiled coldly. Of course not, but you still have your job, don't you? Ah, almost forgot. Her smile widened. Breaking news, Mr. Zier. An hour ago, Azibo Holdings acquired 70% of the company you work for. As the new majority shareholder, Chairperson Nyala's first order is a management reorganization. Zier froze as she continued. Your termination letter has been signed. You are officially fired. Everything collapsed at once. House, car, wife, savings, and now his pride, his job. You are demons, he cried, voice broken. We are only doing justice, Director Inosi said. And about the $400,000 debt. Ms. Nyala is merciful. She knows you can never pay it, so she offers you an option. Another sheet of paper slid across the table. Ziri's hands shook as he looked. A confession. Adultery, verbal abuse, abandonment. Sign it, and the debt would be waived. He stared. It was all he had left of his dignity. Why? He asked, trembling. Just an assurance, the lawyer said, so you don't invent false stories. Zier had no choice. Fired, bankrupt, and homeless, he picked up the pen. Hands shaking, he signed the confession. It's over, Director Inosi said, collecting the papers. The meeting room door opened. Nyala appeared again, calm, towering, and imperious. She stopped in front of him. You divorced me, Zier? She asked. You threw those papers in my face when I was sick. She held up the same folder he had discarded on her bed. Slowly, deliberately, she tore it to pieces, letting them drift onto his lap. I am divorcing you, she said coldly, and I will make sure you don't take a single dime. Now leave my building, she ordered. 2 security guards moved in. Remove this trash, Director Inosi commanded. Zier did not resist. Numb, broken, he was dragged through the lobby, past stares of pity and disgust. Automatic glass doors opened, and he was thrown onto the hot sidewalk. His pajamas were dirty, his dignity shattered, his life reduced to a confession on paper. For the second time that day, he lay on the asphalt, staring at the blue sky above the Azibo Holdings Tower, separated forever from the luxury he had falsely claimed. Street dust filled his lungs. His body froze, unable to process the perfection of his ruin. Fired, bankrupt, abandoned, humiliated. He was nothing. With trembling legs, he finally stood. His phone gone. Empty pockets. Nothing but the clothes on his back. Hunger gnawed at him. The sun dipped low. He wandered aimlessly. He remembered his old friends, his party circle, and tried to seek help. At the coffee shop, they stared at him in shock. Zaire? What happened to you? He spun a mangled story. I was framed. Accounts frozen. Loan me cash? Cold faces, whispers of fear. We can't help. You're ruined with Azebo Holdings. Stay away. Alone, humiliated, he was escorted out by a waiter. Night fell. He curled on the sidewalk in the cold, mosquitoes buzzing, sewers reeking. Instant karma. Anna's fate was no better. She had fled with designer bags and a motel room, but the news of Zier's downfall spread like wildfire. No rich men would associate with her. Soon, legal summons arrived. Adultery, defamation, destruction of property. A $1 million claim. She had no money, no allies, no protection. She sold her bags at bargain prices, struggled to survive, and eventually ended up as a waitress, burdened by debt. Her world had collapsed. Zier, after 3 days on the streets, swallowed his pride. He approached the market where porters worked. Grimy, bearded, exhausted, he begged for work. Sir, need help? The foreman eyed him. You can lift sacks? I'm strong, I need to eat, Zier pleaded. $1.50 per sack, the foreman said. And so began his new life. The man who had driven a sports car, worn designer shirts, and lived in luxury now labored under the scorching sun, sweat mixing with grime, muscles growing from toil, hands calloused and wounded. Anna's ruin was complete. Zaire felt nothing. His heart was dead. Lift, carry, eat, sleep. That was his world. After 12 hours, he earned 55s and crumpled bills. He bought a plate of rice to go and sat on the dirty sidewalk. Across the street, a giant screen lit up. It was a live broadcast. Niala's calm, regal face dominated the screen. A foreign journalist asked her the secret to her success. I never stopped working, she said. I never stopped believing in myself, even when the closest person underestimated me and called me useless. The food bag slipped from Zier's hands. Rice scattered across the dirty asphalt. He didn't care. Eyes fixed on the screen, he watched the woman he had mocked command the world, while he, the man who once called himself a king, sat like a beggar amid dust and failure. He lowered his head. No tears, no anger, just a dry, hollow laugh. He had lost everything, his pride, his fortune, his life. And above it all, Niala's empire soared. Karma, perfectly executed, had claimed its due.